with the music change.
You goofed it.
No, we're good. Hello, everybody. Welcome. It was just one of those things. Oh, it's on. Yeah. Never mind. I thought the song was going to change, and like always, we always wind up starting right when the song goes to craziness. And we're
Trevor, you did it.
Did it work?
You did it. I don't know what you did, but you did it. Yeah.
We're evolving. We're improving.
1 out of 48 attempts ain't bad.
We're leveling up as people.
Hey, you know what? Sometimes it takes a minute for that KD ratio to work its way up. And you know what? You're getting there. So you got to start with 1. Yeah, got to start with 1. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to tonight's episode of Age of Myth. I said Gauge. Yeah,
you go.
Because I was
Age of
mixing.
Mantos.
Oh, my brain. And then on Sunday, I feel like I almost very much said Age of Myth, and I was like, nope. I finally was gonna say the right one at the right time, and we were still off. But it's fine. You know, this is just mental exercises. It's like doing Sudoku, not the other one. Sudoku. I was like doing mental Sudoku. Oh my god.
Sudoku or seppuku? Which one?
It depends on the day, because sometimes I feel like my brain can go one direction or the other. Oh lord. Yep, it's time for the fan. It's getting warm in here. Okay. That's
but
what it
all
is.
the
I'm just
fans
overheating.
are in chat.
Oh no. Not that. Anything but that. All right. Well, it's good to see everybody. Thank you for being here today. Definitely thank you everybody who came out and hung out with us on Sunday. A belated happy birthday to our little Astrid Sonder boy person.
Yay.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Wee-oo. I said it as my best Lou impression as possible.
Birthday inspiration?
Wow, that was great. That was
Birthday inspiration for Astrid?
close.
Yes, but it's
Being
the
disastered.
Disastered. Oh,
Disaster.
you get one luck roll. You get one reroll of your choice today.
Okay. I'll add inspiration.
And Laertes gets 1 disadvantage roll for that attack against the birthday.
It's fine. It evens out with the inspo I got last session.
I forgot what I was gonna say. But yeah. So first session went great. Looking forward to next Sunday. Je ne sais quoi, speak of the devil. There he is. But yes, we had a great first time. Lovely characters, lovely scenario. I'm sure everything will go perfectly fine. Nobody. That's it. There's nobody.
Just
I
ignore
hope
the
nobody.
title of the miniseries.
I hated it. Yeah, I know. It was true torture. Completely.
It will be.
It was for Alexov.
Yee.
Get that man to therapy.
You don't think they've tried? No one's tried. We'll see what happens on Sunday
They
at
left
7.
therapy behind in the previous universe.
Yeah.
Oh no. It hasn't been reinvented yet. It's fine. But yeah, looking forward to that. Any other announcements on y'all's end?
My Kids on Brooms game got postponed to March 17th, so come see us a week from Sunday.
Awesome. Looking forward to that. Therapy, is that a spell? Yes. Therapy at 4th level. But yeah, okay. I don't think I have
Covered
anything
by
else.
your medical HMO.
That
Too real.
Too real. Alrighty. Well, I have nothing further to say, so I guess let's just dive right into tonight's episode of Age of Myth.
You left
Oh.
everybody sitting in the dark.
And now we just use our imaginations.
The whole game, theater of the mind.
Theater of the mind forever.
Imagine the session for the next 3 hours.
Yeah, for real. Alvi does too. Sorry, Alvi. All right, so from this point, we'll go ahead and jump right into our recap. So take it away.
Okay. I languidly stretch, then slip lazily through the clouds before tumbling to the world below. A ship makes its way through the sea, and I am drawn to those on board. A scientist sits with the mistress of magic. I dance through the crystal in his hand. They discuss the past, their science, and she watches him with pride in her eyes. His voice turns sad as he speaks of his mother. Then he hides below where it is hard for me to follow. My lord's friend offers to train with the captain. I sit in the strands of her hair, the gold of her eyes. This other light is curious. It is not me, but we are kindred spirits somehow. As my lord's friend speaks, this other light continues to grow, and we recognize each other for what we are. May my light honor the light in you. I dance between her and this strange light as they spar. It is joyful, and I can see why my lord calls her friend. My lord's priestess watches from the side as she crafts, always faithful in her duties. I twist across her head, down her back, warming those who were her constant companions. She gathers all these young Orphics in the mistress, these who remind me so much of my lord. I pause as I glint off the handsome wind shield, listening in to what my lord's priestess has to say. She speaks of my lord and Python, but also Gaia, and how she will be a bridge between two worlds as my lord's Pythia. The mistress speaks of a plague of the past, and I fear it will happen again. I know if this plague finds its way here, I cannot live alongside it. I will be lost. The handsome one dives off the back of the ship, worrying the crew, but a new creature is there, one of the Lord of Water's steeds, and I dance through the spray, creating rainbows in their wake. The ship lands at Delos, this island that is special to my lord. I want to show them the path, caress the hands of my lord's friend and his priestess especially, as I guide the way to his temple. But the chariot has made its way across the sky, and I send myself in one final stretch, turning purple and crimson as I light a path to the door of Karis' grace. May they find rest there.
All right. Thank you, Sunlight.
Nice.
Thank you,
You're
Sunlight.
welcome.
Thank you, Sunlight, for that lovely vision.
No regrets.
Oh no. Oh boy.
That was
Okay.
such a neat notion for a recap.
Thanks. It was fun.
The crew gathered all together at the doorway of Karis's grace. Before you stands the towering figure of a Minotaur woman as she gestures for you to enter into her into the abode that will be your home for the evening. As you enter, there is a warmth to this space, and it is very clear that this house, this inn after a fashion, is built with tall folk in mind, as everything seems slightly bigger than most. You get a view of a nice, welcoming, open area with a small pool of water in its center with a couple of lily pads. The evening darkness has already made them light the lanterns and torches and braziers here in the space so that there is this flickering orange glow to everything around you. As you walk in, your host introduces herself. Hello, my name is Danai. I'm assuming you are going to be needing a place to stay for the evening?
Yes. We've just landed in the port, and we need a place. How much are you asking for the night?
Well, we are definitely not the finest in all of Delos, but you will find plenty of comfort and hopefully a home away from home for weary travelers. I ask only but 8 silver per person. I will provide you with a place of comfort to lay your heads, a beautiful meal in the morning, and whatever else you might require. Pretty good
So
deal,
that's
if I do
really-
say so myself, she says.
Yeah, I'll give my 8 silver.
And Mr. will chip in hers.
Phoebe will pay
Likewise.
hers.
Now, are you all hungry? Have you all rested already? Do you wish to retire? How can I entertain or make you feel more comfortable this evening?
Quick question, Aaron.
Yeah.
We had the drop O ambrosia a while ago. How long ago was that? And
That was earlier in the day.
okay. So even if it was filling then, it's been several hours.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I think a good meal would do a lot of us well.
Excellent.
I agree.
Then I will make sure that the attendants in the kitchen begin preparing you something local, something more exotic.
I would like to have what you consider a normal meal here in Delos.
Well, I shall do my best to make sure that I can appease your tastes. She kind of like starts to cock her head to the side. Are you wearing your hood up or is it down?
She has her hood up, yes.
Yeah. She just kind of has been like looking over each of you one at a time. And when she gets to Themisto, she kind of notices the curiosity of her hood still being up. Especially now that she is in the indoor space but she doesn't question it. She just kind of like looks. Come with me this way. I will show you to your rooms. You will actually fill up the rest of our rooms tonight. I don't have much in the way of mini spaces for many travelers, so you are very fortunate that you did not come on a busier night.
Perhaps it is the will of the gods.
One would hope so. One would hope so. She kind of turns and kind of rubs her hands with her apron as if like drying them or whatever as she walks further into the house. It's a nicely sized villa. And as she heads off to the right side of the building where these rooms are, they are not by any means lavish, but they are really nice compared to some of the other places you've stayed at.
And in comparison, Aaron, the place that we saw towards the docks was homey, but definitely a lot less lavish.
Right.
Okay.
This one's a little closer to the temples and thus probably caters to more of those that are traveling for pilgrimages and such.
Do we have a view of the temples or anything where we are right now? Like, do we have windows or?
The rooms do have like little small squares. I would say that probably most of them overlook the sides of the city. The temples are further up the hill and behind this house.
Okay.
Each of you will have your own abode. Unfortunately, I do not have any keys, so do not lock yourself out. But you may bolt it from the inside if you so wish. Give us but a few moments' time, and we'll prepare what we are able. She points down the hallway. Continue down the hallway and to the left, and you will see where our dining chambers are. Once you are prepared to eat, feel free to join us at your leisure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And you guys are free to. It's like small, like little one bed kind of situations, but the one bed is probably like a little larger than most. So catering to the Goliath and Minoan populations.
Before we do anything else, I feel like we should divide up this shimmer weave. And he reaches into his bag. I think I've got 4 of these here.
No, remember I'm one.
3. So you've got one, and I've 3 others. I honestly don't think I need one because I'm always in full armor. It's how I'm most comfortable. So it probably whatever I'd wear would look very bulky.
Well, just because one person has it doesn't mean that we can't rotate through them if we need to at some point. I would like to spend a bit of time examining one of them, if you don't mind.
Of course.
I'll just hold it up.
Yes,
And one shimmer weave to the rest of you.
perhaps Laertes, you can help to remedy the fact that we are one short if you study long enough.
Well, it's because I want to know more about how it works. Trying to test some theories.
Yes, do I. It is from the Old Kingdom, yes, so there are many mysteries to unlock.
So, just to remind me, it's been quite a lot in the last couple of days. We are here to track the Phobos cult, right?
This is a stop along the way.
Stop
I
alone.
asked the Capitanos if we could stop here. Telling the secret to Apollo.
Yes, and Artemis as well. We have arrived at a different context than we had before, but the stories said that this was their birthplace. Who knows now if that is true? But nevertheless, it is a place I have always wanted to see.
It might be good to see such an important place with new eyes.
That is my thought as well.
Once we get settled, would you all want to go and explore the temples together?
I
I'm
would
all
love
for
to
it.
see the temples, yes. I am
Okay.
going to set down my pack, but I have something for all of you.
Oh.
Hmm.
Does it have to do with the honey and the shark skin from before?
The shark skin, yes, it was useful sandpaper for me.
Makes sense.
I'd go unload in my room, but I don't believe I have anything to actually put down. Just carry it with me.
Go
Out of care, where are we right now? Like we're just outside the rooms, or
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just a hallway with it. There are 6 rooms there.
Yeah.
So 3 on each side.
Does the 6th one look occupied?
No. The door's closed, but she said that you guys had kind of filled up everything, so.
Hmm.
You guys are free to do what you want.
I'll wait for dinner unless someone else has an idea that would call us away.
Laertes, it sounded like you had maybe something to say. I'll let you go ahead before
Oh,
Themisto does stuff.
no, I have nothing to add.
Okay. In that case, Themisto will do as she said, and she'll set down her pack in one of the empty rooms, look out the window for a quick moment, and then grab the items that she has been dutifully working on over these last several days. So she holds a stack of little, about yay big rectangles made of wood in two different colors, a darker color and a lighter color. Not differentiated between each, but like each has both of these types of wood. But she was using the mallet to fit them into these pieces that she'd carved out. They are wax tablets, and each of them has had wax poured into the tray, like the kind that Themisto uses to record notes sometimes. And there's one for each of you. So first, she hands one to, well, she's going to distribute them all, and then I'll just describe them for you. How about that? So for Cypress, yours has the edges are decorated in a classic Greek key pattern with the lighter wood forming that classic like square spiral, basically, that you may be familiar with. Then the back of it is a wheel of laurels that are linked like a chain, with each one rotated slightly, is where the light wood is. And there's a javelin bisecting them diagonally. And the wax is a green color. For Astrid, your borders are rudimentary elk. Themisto did as best a job as she could, making these woodland creatures on the borders. And on the back, there are little spirals that seem to indicate stars, like a night sky, and then little wave lines on the lower half, like a sea. And in the center, she's made the protective eye, that's like is seen on the Greek ships. And your wax is in a purple color, like the wine dark seas of Homer. For Laertes, you have a wax tablet that is a bunch of interlocking geometry all up and down it and all across the back. It looks rather maze-like, but there's an empty spot in the center near the top. And as Laertes looks at it, Themisto says, that's a possibility that you can find.
It's beautiful, thank you.
The wax is like a cyan color.
I'm just
And
picturing
then
this. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, go for it.
I was just picturing this. It's like this sort of fractalish spiral, kind of going toward the little point meant to fill in with your imagination.
Exactly.
I like that. It's fun. Thank you.
And then for Phoebe, you have on the back a magnificent sun with wavy rays that extend out of it. But then as the waves of the rays extend from the sun and weave around to the front, they split again and become like ribbons, basically, of this light wood that twist and overlap and cross and create like this like loose loom weave pattern, basically, on the front that stretches around, and you can kind of see the tips of the rays on the edges of the back too. So it's like the sun glowing from here and from here. Your wax is bare honey color, and you can actually see through it a bit, and you can see all of that weaving on the other side. She's handed each of you a simple stylus too. She says, I'm not so good at this stylus, but I figure you can find one that is meaningful to you. I
Thank you,
love
Themisto.
Thank
my
you.
wax tablet for whatever comes to mind. It helps to set my thoughts straight. I hope you like them.
It's
It's
beautiful.
very nice. Thank you for this.
You're welcome. I'm happy to share it.
Tamiso, you have your own, right?
I do, yes. It is very simple, but it does what I need.
This is beautiful.
If I may return the gesture in a very small way.
Of course.
He holds out his hand for you to offer yours in turn.
She does.
And around her hand, it's almost like a snaking of these sort of ghostly blue fibers as they coalesce and snake around her hand. They coalesce into a small, bright white moat before it just simply lowers into the hand itself. Possibility. And she has fortune favor for the next, I believe, hour. But that's weird to me, so I feel like it should have been all day. But never mind. It's a thing she has now. So she just has advantage on any roll that she wants to do in the next hour.
Thank you very much. Oops. Thank you, Laertes. Perhaps sometime you can explain to me the principle behind these.
I'd be happy to. Well, shall we get food and then go for a walk?
Yes, that sounds like a great idea. Some of you perhaps notice, perhaps not, that some of the Mr. Snakes have been paying attention to Phoebe during this entire exchange.
Being betrayed.
Alrighty. Well, as you guys gather together, after having kind of relaxed for a moment and taken a look-see over your fine new additions to your inventory, you head down the hall to the eating room where there is a sunken section of the floor that has, it's almost like those those, God, I know that there's a term for it, but they're like a sunken like pit that has a bunch of like chairs around, or pillows and cushions around in a circle, and then in the center there's like a small table. So it gives it kind of like a very, you step down into it and kind of sit yourself down, and there's tables there in the center. And in the very center of it is a small bowl of glowing coals that seems to mirror a larger, like almost like candelabra kind of brazier up on the ceiling. And it gives the room nice warmth, and not only in color but also in feeling. And there's a slight scent of incense that hangs in the air, a slight cedary scent that smells very welcoming and homey. And as you guys sit down, there is a from behind a pulled back beaded curtain that kind of sits and is hung up on the side. A Triton woman bows under and comes around with a large bowl, a large earthenware vessel that she then places on that center bunch of glowing coals to kind of keep this warm. And as she takes the large lid off of the pot, you smell an instant aroma of like a stew of some sort. It's a lovely hearty stew. And she behind her, a male hobgoblin comes with a bunch of bowls and sets them down around each of you as well. And back and forth they come and they bring you like spoons and this nice large basket of bread before Danai returns to the room. One of the local cuisines is a sort of a seafood broth, and perhaps it would be pleasing. It is a little on the spicy side, but that's more of my own Minoan culture versus a Delos delicacy.
It smells wonderful.
What were you gonna say, Laertes?
Oh, I was just getting confirmation of the name.
Oh, Danai? Danai.
One more time for me, please.
Danai.
Danae.
Danai. Hello, Danai.
Oh, it's like I'm watching a Guy Ritchie movie again, and I'm very, very happy.
She's
Alrighty.
just going to be drooling over the stew, waiting.
Oh yeah. She does. Your host does gesture to the bowl. Please help yourselves. As I said, I want you to feel at home. If you need anything, Hypatia, she gestures to the woman Triton. Hypatia and Echion, the hobgoblin, are going to be here. Just call for them, and they will get you whatever you require.
You see Laertes sort of sit up at one of the names.
Can you
But
say the
then-
hobgoblin name one more time?
Echion. Here, I'll put them in chat.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have the technology.
Right.
You just put them in your wax tablets.
And what was the other one? Sorry, since it was already
Hypatia.
Hypatia. Thank you. I don't know what I thought I heard.
My
Thank you
nose
very
is a little stuffy, so my pronunciation of things is out the window.
Flawless.
Yeah, sure. But just call for them, and they will attend to you as need be. I am going to go and take a relaxing bath, which I also suggest there is another room. Oh, she gestures in the direction of it. Over there that has a heated, one of the few heated baths you can find this side of Crete, anyway.
That sounds fantastic. We've been traveling for a very long time.
Does sound lovely.
Well, I will leave you to your dinner. If you need anything, please do not hesitate to call.
Bathing in the ocean does leave one with a layer of salt.
Yeah, just a little bit. All right.
Phoebe will help serve everyone.
Okay.
I will help eat.
Yeah, that tracks.
I mean, he is basically still a teenager, so
Yeah, no, that's why I was saying it.
he's got that vibe.
Thank you, Phoebe.
Thanks,
If any of
Mom.
you don't finish what you're eating, I will help you.
Instant Garfield moment ensues, just like
How spicy is the spicy seafood stew?
It counts as fire damage.
no, but it does make you sweat a little bit. A little bit of a nice healthy amount of dewiness comes up on the forehead.
So it's like me eating like a 3 at a Thai restaurant. Got it.
Sure. Depending on the Thai restaurant, because sometimes 3s are like, ah. Go on.
If you don't have a good layer of forehead sweat going, you didn't get the right
Yeah.
level.
Well, if there's anything that you guys wish to discuss, I will leave it to that. If not, then we can just continue on with afterwards. The
I really love the potential for an image of just a quiet, non-important dinner.
mhm.
Just a little, just like wordless vignette to kind of fade out from is that's my view, my
Yeah,
vote. But
that's fine.
I agree.
All right. Throughout,
Mister
soup-
definitely does the thing where she takes the bread hunk and like puts it in the soup bowl after she's done to like soak up the remnants.
Mm.
nice.
I mean, that should be state law. I don't.
Someone doesn't eat their bread, and the host is like,
So I believe the official Southern terminology is sop up the juice.
Sop
yeah.
up the juice. Oh no.
Is the soup cacavia?
You've
It
been
is.
Googling like
Yes.
Greek soup.
I have not.
Yeah, I did. There's a lemony, like spicy fish stew that it's called fisherman stew, but it translates to cacavia in Greek, and it's
Sure.
really, really
I was just thinking, they're not gonna have a beef stew, so and something hearty because it's a fishing village. So
I don't know.
it's like,
Maybe if one of the kids acts up.
no.
I will say that Phoebe will steal a couple of glances over at Themisto during this quiet dinner,
Mr.
especially
notices.
having clocked earlier that there was something left unsaid to Themisto.
fully immersed in the meal.
Yeah, just all right. Throughout the meal, both of the attendants keep glasses of cool, refreshing water at the ready. And once it is clear that you have slowed down in your meal, they begin to take away, the used dishware and allow you to do whatever you need. Heading out then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, that was just what I needed.
Yeah, she's gonna lay her bowl down heavily, so like clinks on the table and yawn. Ugh.
Gavadanios, you're ready for sleep already. We haven't gone out on a town.
Yeah, maybe I just need to walk around for a bit, explore. Then I can wake up again. But that was so good, and I am so full.
Well, I know I want to see Apollo's temple, but I believe you said before you trained with Artemis. Do you want to go visit her place?
I believe one of the street dogs can smell our dinner on us.
How about this, Astrid? I could either stay out for a long time or turn in early. How about you come out with us, and then if you get tired really early, I'll go back with you so that you're not going alone.
Okay, that works. I should be okay.
If Philip
just
had
get
asked
sleepy
if you
after
were interested in seeing the Temple of Artemis, which would also be here.
Yes, that would be good. I studied with her and under her, and she's a great huntress. Yes, that would be good to show my admiration towards this god.
Okay. All right. Well, then, as you gather all whatever you think you might need for the evening, you all head out.
The Mister's gonna kind of take a little eye at everyone else and see if they're intending to bring fighting stuff along, or I guess really more Astrid and Cypress. Cypress is definitely bringing his shield, I'm sure. Is Astrid bringing her staff, her spear?
What am I naked? I'm
She
not
will
going
put her
up
stuff
that shield.
She's going to put most of her stuff down and carry a single dagger with her.
The Mister's gonna bring her sword just because it's her divine focus, and if she wants to make any offerings, she's gonna have to bring it with her, but she's gonna leave the shield at home for the hotel.
I've got enough shield for all of us.
Alrighty.
Laertes brings his arsenal.
It's called his brain.
Laertes just hovers it
Strongest
all
muscle in
down.
his body.
Yeah, both Laertes and Phoebe just crack their knuckles. And then Laertes goes, ow.
Oh no, those have
Yeah,
to
but it's pointing in the
retreat.
other direction, like what's his name? Seth Green in Mass Effect.
Yeah, Joker.
Oh no. Alrighty. Well, you guys head out into the evening air.
Yes.
Where would you like to go?
I believe Apollo's temple first.
Okay. As you guys head out into Delos, you walk up the winding paths to the temples that sit on the hill overlooking the harbor city here. Even this late in the evening, there's still a few people out and about, though there aren't as many near the temples as there are near, further down near the docks, where more of the regular parts of the town are. The temples kind of have more of a gardens and parks, orchids, orchards, and such that are surrounding them. So there is less reason to just come here unless you're specifically going to the temples. There's a few spots where some people gather under lit lanterns that are under these large trees, enjoying a quiet evening away from the hustle, the slight hustle that exists near the harbor. But you said going to the Temple of Apollo. There are the two temples that seem to be kind of the largest and sit closest together. Seem almost I wouldn't say necessarily a stark contrast, but they do have a bit of a contrast, one from the other. As the one for Artemis seems to be mostly made of wood, a large and impressive structure with columns that seem to mirror that of the Temple of Apollo. The one for the Temple of Apollo is made of a brilliant stone marble almost that kind of seems to have the faintest of veins that run through it. And as you approach up the steps, there are some of those veins on the steps themselves and on the columns themselves that seem to glimmer or catch the light from the lit torches and braziers as they flicker. Kind of makes it almost like these golden specks that kind of run through the temple itself. Large hanging curtains and tapestries, things that you would normally expect to find in these temples. They don't. This, despite its location or history, it doesn't seem to be any grander than any of the other ones that you have seen, as far as like presentation wise. But you enter in and find yourself in these inside of this massive open building, the far side of which stands the golden haloed visage of a giant statue of Apollo.
What version of Apollo does this look like? Is this more of the older young man with the like golden curly hair as opposed to like a Diodorus figure?
Yes, this is more of the classic Apollo look. The Diodorus version that you are more familiar with is not one that exists in statue form per se. But the temple at the moment seems empty. There's not really at this point in the night there aren't a whole lot of people around, but that's per usual.
Themisto is gonna turn and say, I would say we should return in the morning, but we've brought the sun with us.
Baby's gonna blush.
Gross.
Oh, I see. You're brightening her day.
No. You want puns? This is how you get puns.
I don't see how that's a problem.
Fair. There is as you guys, what are you doing here in this space? Gonna do your little offering, or are you just kind of looking around?
Themisto is going to approach the altar, and she hasn't brought an entire bay wreath with her because she's short on those. But she's brought a couple of leaves, and she's gonna set them at the foot of the statue of Apollo, and kneel for a moment, and then say, I know this is not much, but we're looking for you. And then she'll stand up and step back.
Phoebe's going to step up and give her own offering. But what she's going to try to offer is a little bit of her light. And in sharing that, just kind of letting it glow on the base of the statue, it's going to reach out and see if she can feel him at all.
Okay. Make a religion check for me.
Don't think I'm real good at that. I'm okay at that. If it would land in my upstraight. And it's only a 13.
Mister's presence as a priestess could be considered aiding Phoebe.
Is there anything that you say, Phoebe, or is this just something that you're trying
I still
to do?
just trying to do. I don't think Phoebe has ever been good at like formal prayer.
Okay.
Mister's gonna. Oh, go ahead.
No, go. What were we gonna say?
You first.
No. You sit and kneel. There's like these little pillows near the base of the statue. The whole floor around here is covered with bay leaves and various flowers that offer up this really beautiful scent. And you reach for some sort of connection. But this is all still so new to you. And it's not that you don't necessarily know how to do it. You've probably just never had the necessity to. Because every time before, it's been he has been there for so long. Always and constantly. And particularly when you were younger and there within the temple. It always seemed that he was there when you needed him most. And this, while the presence is warming, and you see the statue, and you see all of the reliefs on the walls showing various aspects of might from this god of the sun. You open your eyes to look around and hope in the hope that you see something. But as the lack of a immediate effect is felt and you feel your heart kind of just take that little hit and like sink down a little lower, you hear a voice come from behind the statue. So little late for the petitioners of the sun god. A warm-looking human man comes around the corner in priest robes. Probably late 40s. Most of his hair seems to have finally given up on color and begun to shift into the grays, but there's still that little dappling of other color to him. As he seems to be pulling his robes close, probably having just redressed himself. He sees the 5 of you standing there and sees you kneeling there.
We came into harbor with the last rays of the sun, and we don't have long on Delos, but I could not pass this place.
That is understood. And Apollo appreciates, I'm sure, the faith that you have shown in making sure that even as the last of the rays of the sun have passed over the horizon, that you have been here. May I ask where you're from?
I am from Corinthos.
He seems to look down as if thinking. Phoebe, is it?
Yes.
Huh. Well, I would never have assumed to have seen you here so far from home.
Do I recognize him?
No. You have been spoken of highly. At least back when you were kind of goes and brings his hand down to waist high.
I think at this point the tears that Phoebe's been holding on to spill over.
He comes over to you and offers his arms.
And I'm just gonna kind of sink into them for a moment.
It's like getting an embrace from a long lost family member, someone that an estranged I hate to say the term estranged uncle, but someone of an older age that maybe you just had heard stories of in that moment of well, I don't really know you, but your family, and there's just that familial connection that's just warm and comforting. And so even though despite maybe immense time and distance, you still immediately go into that family mode, and he embraces you and leans his cheek on the top of your head and pushes you off a little bit. There was once a boy who was very fond of a Phoebe that spoke very highly of this little sister of his. Are you well, child?
I just miss my brother very much.
Well, I'm sure wherever he is, he misses you as well. What circumstance brings you so far from home?
We have found ourselves set on an adventure. The gods have set us on this path.
Anyone in particular?
For me, there's Apollo who guides. Even when it feels like the sun won't rise again.
But the Apollo is not gone. We speak to him every day. He always listens. Have you tried speaking to him?
I need to speak to my friend again. I've never been so good with the formal prayers. The priest in Corinthos always used to fuss at me.
Then don't bother with formalities then. If who you wish to speak to is truly a brother and friend, then you will speak to him as such. And he will hear you as such. He wipes away one of your tears on your cheek. Sometimes night can seem rather daunting with the lack of the light. But with assuredness, we know that the dawn will come and the sun will rise once again. Surely the time spent away from your brother and friend might seem like the longest of nights. But do you believe that the sun will rise once again?
I do. He's given me a piece of the sun to help guide my way. She'll say with a quick glimpse over her shoulder.
I am sorry. I have not introduced myself. My name is Abderos. I already know of our dear daughter Phoebe. But who might the rest of you be?
Cyprus of Thebes,
Oh,
on much of the same mission, but different original goals. And he bows.
Capitanios, Arsveda Romana, for nothings.
so far, not so far away.
Laertes of Sagan.
And finally, he looks over at the Misto, who I'm assuming your hood is still up.
I am Themisto, an aspirant from the Temple of Apollo Peteus at Delphi.
You see his eyes kind of go, oh, in that way. Then I am in the presence of truly wondrous people. Although I may not know some of your names, he looks over, but an aspirant and a friend so dear. Blessed company you travel in, daughter Phoebe. Why do you hide your face, child?
Perhaps you have not heard. And she's gonna pull the hood down, revealing her snakes.
The reaction is swift, but quickly measured as he kind of like goes, oh, and then like internalizes any other reactions he may have had on the outside. No. A daughter,
I am
a daughter of Gaia.
the very same.
I do recall the priests having spoken in certain circles that there was a daughter of Gaia amongst the children of Apollo's temples. But I figured it was in the sense of spirit, much less the actual physical presence.
Yes. It is her spirit that has graced me with this.
Truly a blessing.
Hmm.
High hopes then for you to become Pythia. I feel that that is a rather unique calling that you have.
Not everyone shares your hope, but that is my goal.
Not everyone is as important. Do not worry about what the rest of them believe. It is what you know and how you choose to use what you know that matters most with being Pythia. At least from what few I have spoken with.
I shall heed your words, Delos. Thank you.
Well,
Oh, John.
yes, sir, right away. Just...
Who's up in the cabinet?
No, you're fine.
There are a lot of dogs in Delos.
Yeah.
The Dogs of Delos is my favorite band.
Dogs of Delos. Nice.
Isn't that a Sherlock Holmes story?
Oh my
I
gosh.
heard they're opening for Suddenly Goats.
No, the Dogs of Delos.
Sherlock Homer.
There it is. That ties it all together.
The worst. All right. Well, I do not wish to disturb what prayers or offerings you have, but how about something that most visitors to the temple do not get to see? Huh?
The Misto, like Laertes, is gonna cock her head a little bit. And the snakes do the anti-tilt thing that they
I
do.
was about to say, they just like counter lever each other a
Yeah,
bit.
yes.
It's like gyroscopic. The snakes
Exactly.
don't move at all.
I actually really enjoy the idea of just in one brief moment, the Misto and Laertes are both kind of doing the.
Yes.
Well, in that case, come with me. He turns around and walks to the back of the statue.
Like graffiti on the back. He's like, check this out.
Nobody sees it. It's on the back.
Artemis was here, you chode. Ha ha ha.
That
Catch
I
me
really wish
outside.
were canon. Loser bro.
He goes to the back of the
I'm 2
statue.
seconds older.
he, goes, he goes to the back of the statue, and you see that the back of the statue actually has a doorway with stairs that lead downwards. Small and cramped. It is not really built in such a way that many would come down here. It is definitely single file and kind of hunched as he goes down. You see as he walks, there is a torch that is like hanging unlit on the side. And as he grabs it, it lights with flame. And he lights the way as he leads you down this passageway, this tight, carved tunnel into the depths of the Temple of Apollo. Doesn't say anything, just walks. And as what you would assume would be for player like mindset, it goes like about a story to 2 stories down. Definitely a little bit of a walk. And as you get to this inside deep sanctum, it is what sounds like a echoing chamber that's just dark. You see the ground has a mosaic of small tiles that kind of spreads outwards from the doorway, looking like the rays of the sun that kind of spread out in these golden, very geometric lines that kind of crisscross in different patterns that go across this room. He brings the torch over to the side and seems to dip it into a recess that then immediately alights all around the four corners of this room or along the wall. It's almost like those little ledges that have like coals that just like lights the fire all the way around.
What is it, like the treasure room in National Treasure?
Yeah, something like that.
And this guy turns around and he suddenly sees his face, and it's Nick Cage.
Who do you think that I didn't? Oh, I forgot to describe what he looked like this whole time.
What we've got down here.
Like before we walk down the stairs behind, did he just go?
Beautiful.
This is privileged information.
The
Weight of
tiles,
unbearable bullshit.
the tiles that you see on the mosaic on the ground, while most are darkened like blacks, blues, and greens, there are these brilliant, almost looking like pure gold that create these geometric lines that like crisscross all the way across the floor here. Almost in a very Art Deco kind of style of like the lines that just like perfectly geometrically cross. And in the far side, the large tapestry that hangs behind it of a very old, aged-looking fabric. It almost is like it has like this scarlet, reddish purpleness to it. Lies what it looks like a cradle that could fit probably a full-grown person. He turns as you enter the room. He gestures to it. As I'm sure you are aware. Oh, and I will. There. Okay. I was like, oh, I forgot. I didn't see the dreamy head get up. Wait for you to sit down.
Yeah,
I'm finding it really funny that you're almost describing an animus, and I'm wearing my Abstergo t-shirt right now.
This room, as I just hadn't gotten very far, so you didn't really miss anything.
Okay. I was
Just,
like, oh no.
just the lighting, and then the mosaic, and how it had like this very Art Deco of like golden lines on the mosaic on the floor.
Does it look familiar at all to anything we've seen with the fold?
No,
Okay.
but at the far end of it, there is what looks like a cradle of sorts, a strange looking cradle, probably about the size, about like 5 feet in length, and is cradle, almost casket looking thing. And he gestures to it. As I'm sure you all are aware of the stories of the birth of Apollo and Artemis here. Well, may I present to you the very crib of Apollo.
Please. Yes.
Could I do an investigation check, especially knowing what we know now, looking out for any sign of like Old Kingdom something?
You're welcome to walk up to it. He's not like, there's not like a do not cross this line thing. So
A museum guard, back up, man, back up.
Yeah, Calista wants to approach too, but she's gonna be like kind of watching for his.
He's saying,
I would like to walk up then, and might I roll a check?
sure. What would you like to roll for? Investigation?
Not as good at investigation, but I feel like it's more appropriate than perception.
Okay. Astrid, what were you gonna say?
I imagine that Artemis is in her temple, correct?
I cannot say.
I only rolled a 4. I don't know shit.
The tales of Artemis and Apollo sometimes conflict. Some say that they were both born here at the same time. Others say that she was born first and aided in Apollo's birth. What is true is up to the gods. And honestly, we do not visit each other often. What did you say, Phoebe?
I only got a 4.
4. You haven't seen
missed-
anything in the bits that you have seen. You haven't seen anything like this. What were you gonna say, Themisto?
Can Themisto reach out and place her hand on the edge of it, and just kind of run her hand across it?
Mhm.
And may I do an investigation?
Sure.
Maybe we can get it.
You also have access to advantage if you want it.
I may very well.
And take some guidance.
She's actually not good at investigation, so she's good at religion. I rolled a religion check on it, but I trust what he said about it, so I don't think that's going to help.
Did you hear Astrid?
Yeah, take some-
Yes,
Add the D4 to your.
I will.
Do you go up and touch Themisto? Astrid? Oh, just because guidance is a touch, so don't forget that you have to
Yeah.
touch.
It just gives her a shove.
Get up there!
You got this.
Yeah.
Okay, so all that together ends up being 15.
Oh, with advantage.
I didn't use my advantage, but
It
maybe
is
I ought
finite
to.
because you only get it for like an hour.
Oh, really? Okay, well, I'll just use it now then. Yeah.
I would like to talk to Aaron about changing that, but
Roll for
that's,
initiative.
that's later.
Damn it.
Okay. And then that's much better. 21.
21. You go up there with Phoebe, and Astrid kind of places her hand on your shoulders. You guys are up there and you're looking at this thing.
I feel like the Scooby Gang.
It's not a bassinet or a crib in like any sort of traditional sense, for it looks very different in make, and this looks like it would hold a small person more so than a child or a baby. It is aged, and there's rock, like there's kind of like the crustiness to it, and that part I would say that both Laertes and most of you are familiar with, like the dust of ages that seems to be covering sometimes some of the
Does it look like
artifacts.
this, like a particular material?
It looks like it's made out of somewhat softly carved stone. There's a little bit of rough patches to it, but it almost has like a granity texture to it. Or sandstone, I guess. But
High Priest, may our companion Laertes gently clean this? Or do you consider the exterior of a religious nature?
clean it. Is it dirty? He kind of comes over to where you're at, with like a honest, like curiosity.
Did you just insult this man's diligence?
This could be very old, and perhaps there is a layer we cannot see.
I mean, he kind of gestures to all of it. It's a simple stone bed as far as I know, but if he kind of just shrugs, like, I mean, I would caution you to be careful with a sacred object such as this. If anything was to
understand, sir.
happen to it, I am not responsible for the outcome.
I promise to treat this with as much reverence as I can. He waits for the Mistos nod and go ahead.
She grants it and actually creates a little space so
Mhm.
he'd get up to it. I mean, we have a scholar in Old Kingdom stuff looking at the crib of Apollo. Like it's exciting.
And I'm out of character. I'm glad you made the invitation because I saw this as you and Phoebe's space, so it's kind of just I'll be here if you want me, and that's it. I don't, but anywho, um, he'll. Is there room to kind of like slowly walk around it?
Yeah.
Or okay.
There's the tapestry that hangs. It's towards the back of the rectangular room from the opposite
Mhm.
from the door, right? There's a tapestry that hangs from the ceiling that's probably like 2 or 3 feet from the back side of this thing. So you can walk like between the two,
Mhm.
but it is kind of hanging closely to it.
Okay. Um, I'm going to start as close to the wall behind this thing as I can kind of get. So as I slowly move around it, I'm kind of just making one loop along the outer edge. And much like you saw him do um back at the priory with the walls, he's refined it and focused it, and the walk along, it's like he's calculating the well size, shape, and purpose of the box to all in once sort of just do this sort of flash lift of the layer of dirt, grime, and soot that's accumulated over the years. But no way is he touching it. Is he no way um, trying to put his hands on it? It's more just the surface, the little bits of like micro layer of dirt that's
Mhm.
massed on it. It's just this static roll across the surface, like a rather elaborate version of a Swiffer, just waved right through it, and everything is gone. That shouldn't be there.
Right. You the intense calculations are required. There is like this little strange shimmering that happens from one side of the pod to the other, as you've often described your abilities to kind of look like pulling at strings and tethers.
Mhm.
This, for appearances, looks like how do I describe this? You know, on the underside of carpet that there's like this lattice, right, of like white plastic that's kind of on
Mhm.
there. It's like someone grabbed that white lattice and pulled it upwards. So that, but instead of it pulling up where there's more and more of this like fabric coming away, it just kind of like sizzles, sparkles away. So just like it almost looks like a sparkler kind of effect that kind of goes, or like the fuse of dynamite that kind of goes like that. It just kind of does that all the way down along the length.
Have you ever seen burning steel wool?
Yeah, yeah.
I like that, like the idea of like just from the front to the back, there's this rolling, sizzling, but more benign in appearance,
Mhm.
controlled, careful, and just pristine afterwards.
There are sections of this bed that remain and look stone-like, but where they were kind of pitted with growth, they are now smoothed. There are these fine golden like lines that trace the edges. There are panels of metal. You look at this strange, for lack of a better term, tube of a coffin looking thing with no lid, but it has the opening. There is a space on the inside where someone would lay. There's even still the fabric of like cushioning within the inside. And along the edges of the length of the opening, as you would almost imagine a lid being able to be placed on top. There is written in Bahiran, Apollo.
I'll step away and wave Themisto and Phoebe over for them to see where that is.
What's this say?
Mr.
don't-
leans in.
Because we still don't know Bahiran.
Actually, I would be kind of curious if they would have seen the word written or translated anywhere else. From a player perspective, I'm actually wondering if Apollo has been written differently in the scriptures and stuff like that. So I'm curious if it triggers anything.
No. This is a very different script than what is currently used.
Okay. If they don't react to it in any way, it's because it says Apollo.
You see, Abderos is standing there with his mouth open. Just like, I had no idea that this was here. Not like this. What craftsmanship is this? Hephaestus himself couldn't have made something so beautiful.
Could I touch the fabric on the inside and cast light on it? I want to see if the inside being illuminated does anything or just makes it shiny.
Sure. It lights the space. It
Oh, good idea though.
yeah, there's like this brilliance that kind of comes from it. But that's about the extent of it right now. Who? He looks now to Laertes and to Phoebe. Who are you people, truly?
Laertes gives a look to Themisto and Phoebe, clearly deferring to the ladies of Apollo here.
I think Themisto is gonna let Phoebe take the lead unless she doesn't want to.
We have been set on this path, blessed in different ways.
You've been blessed by Apollo himself.
I do not always know it to be true.
No wonder your name has been spoken of so highly. He looks over at Astrid and Cypress. Am I truly in the presence of gods?
Not the term I think we should be using, but
No, we are just people. We have been given gifts to accomplish a task,
You
and that is what we sail for.
You speak with such humility for something that I have not truly witnessed with my own eyes, but have heard stories of.
I can make the equivalent of a candle. What is a candle to the sun?
It is light. It lights the darkness, it pushes it away. What do you mean, what is a candle in comparison to the sun? How dare you diminish light in the dark, no matter the size of it? You allow others to see where they cannot. Do not diminish the light. No matter how small, it is light, and that in itself is a gift.
They are gifts indeed. I am very lucky to have these companions that I do.
He looks back at the bed. This brings so many questions. We have a very particular understanding of things. This, I may not read what this says, but if you are to say that this is and says Apollo, this is very clearly relics of the old kingdom. Then Apollo is from the old kingdom, which has been an assumption of sorts. As I said, stories change over time, and sometimes they conflict. This
The
is
stories
true.
have always said they have walked for a long time on the world.
You said you were put on a task by the gods. May I ask if I may be so humble as to... if there is anything that I may do to aid you, please. Do not hesitate to ask.
You've already done so much.
I have done nothing but show you a sacred artifact that was not supposed to be seen by only those very deserving.
Seems significant.
You have reminded me to keep speaking even when I do not hear the answer I want.
He smiles with a warmth, puts his hand on your shoulder hesitantly, as if now afraid to touch.
That is more than you will ever know.
He stands a little taller.
Task is just finding the truth. Allowing us to see this helps with that greatly. Thank you.
That is the goal of the Fitia, is it not? To help people to see.
You will definitely have my vote.
Thank you, Abduros. You asked if there's anything else you can do. As you said, we and the rest of us, we are a light in the darkness. Please keep this light at the temple ready and willing to accept those who come here if there are worries.
Of course. I could not turn anyone away. It is the call of my station, and I will continue to abide by that call. If you travel the west, be careful. The waters between here and the mainland have become exceedingly perilous.
How?
Something. Within the last few days, something has stirred. Though we do not know what it is. It is as if there is a new presence.
Has there been any sightings of anything? Or is it still not to diminish, but just a feeling.
There has been the ravings of sea folk. And they do like to tell their fish tales. No offense, he turns to Astrid. So it is always with a measure of salt that we take these stories. Because they exaggerate. But there has been words of abductions. Even a small town that went missing.
What is the name of this town?
Carthus?
What is?
Carthis. Carthus. As I said, it was a small village, no more than a handful of fishermen. But no one has seen any of them in the port as of late. They usually bring harvest. I fear that there is something lurking amongst the islands, but I do not know.
You said Carthus?
Yes.
Carthis.
I'm looking for that on the map. And I'm not. You see, Cypress has it upside down.
It
It
Unable
vanished.
to locate
it.
it would not exist probably on any maps. It is more
I
just
see.
village than a town.
South of Athens, probably. Or one of the
Uh,
islands leading up to it.
on the
Just
island
west of it.
on the island of Seriphos.
Seriphos. I see. He finally is holding the map right way up.
But ships have reported more sailors going overboard. Some people missing while traveling amongst the islands. Now and then, sometimes accidents happen, but this has been happening more frequently. Perhaps whatever mission the gods are sending you in, they wish to send you in the direction of where maybe you can do the most good.
It will not be the first time they have done so.
And I wish you be
The-
careful. What are you gonna say, Astrid?
The folk of the water. They do not mention the Serapis, do they?
The who? Sorry?
Do they mention Serapis?
No.
It's the monster that you had mentioned before.
Oh, no.
It's the one that is like
Yeah. Lurking.
Mhm.
I just did like it cut the noise gate kind of cut out half of what you said, so I just didn't hear the
Sorry.
whole. No, you're good. Go ahead, Cypress. What were you gonna say?
Cypress kind of leans over to Phoebe's ear. I know we're not supposed to let anyone know, really, for a number of reasons, what they should be fearful of. But is there any way that we can leave some warning or recommendation to keep them safer?
People are already afraid of the dark, I think. Telling them to fear would not help. Use the lights here. Do you want to keep the light burning?
You see, Abderos smile at this. Abderos approves.
My romance playthrough for Andros is doing very well.
Go ahead. I don't know if the Mister or Laertes.
Themista should go first.
Themista was gonna move to conclude this scene, so
Oh.
go ahead, Laertes, if you've got something else.
Teal looked to Themisto and Abderos. Was that the name correct?
Yep.
Would you mind terribly if I took a few more minutes to try and glean anything else from this?
Of course.
And it will take him about 10 minutes to do this, but he's kind of lost in a bit of a trance as he's walking around the pod, for lack of a better word, back and forth, tracing something through the air. And there's an occasional, I both described it as occasionally moving strands of strings, but also if strings move like water, only not entirely visible, but almost only visible at the point of contact between his fingers and the strands, as he's trying to discern the nature and function of this. If it is a device or just a box, he's trying to, in a slow roundabout way, get through both identify and detect magic, if depending on which one is more relevant than the other.
Themisto is going to be watching closely and actually using her own wax tablet to sort of trace these movements that you're making, these strings, so that she has an idea of maybe she'd be able to do it herself at some point.
Out of character, I would say Laertes would get that nod of approval from you or to you in the video game.
Beautiful.
Like,
Your romance playthrough for Laertes is doing well.
Oh Lord.
I mean, I always said that he was gonna die young. I never realized it was gonna be the Greek tragedy, get shanked by a rival lover. This is my emotional support shank. Enjoy. Would you like to see it up close?
I'll just burn him with the light of the sun.
Oh my
No
God.
one here needs to be afraid of the dark except Laertes.
I cast black hole.
Oh my God. Okay.
He
I
snaps his
don't
way
know
out.
what that is.
Laertes.
Will.
I would say identify probably more so that
Yeah.
you don't sense anything.
I almost feel like he would launch
Emotion.
into detect magic first as just like a course of action. It's almost like he's trying to do that to get the distinct hum of old tech
Yeah.
kind
And
of thing. And if he
this
doesn't start to get
is-
anything, he switches over.
Yeah. This is completely inert, whatever it is.
Mm.
It does not retain any sort of power within it.
Mm.
Through identify,
Mhm.
this device was once used in for multiple things. It is used to support life by some means or another. Is used to support life, but its last usage was to create life, or a semblance of it. There are residual elements of clay that did not get brushed away by the Hoover spell, that remain on the bottom, like these little clumps, like about the size of a marble.
Mm.
Clay, some dried vegetation. Something was formed here and was
How
given
long
life.
ago? Do I get that sense?
By the way that if you pick up one of the little clods of
Mhm.
clay, it immediately starts to crumble into dust. Not any time recently.
Brain went to Steven Universe. Sorry.
Same.
Not any time recently.
Okay. When just to connect a dot in my head,
Mhm.
when I examined the body of the stamped out, not real Apollo, that it
Mhm.
had the same signature of elements.
Mm-hmm.
So when I put forth the idea of homunculus, do I get the impression that this is what did it?
May have been part of it.
Or maybe not necessarily where it came from, but could. Is that
Exactly.
okay?
And it is with that we are going to go on break. So, everybody, don't go nowheres because we still got some stuff to do and stuff. So, no break, only play. Don't worry, Janasi, we will not be gone for long.
Who?
We will be.
That joke never gets old.
That name you keep
Well, because I never
saying.
remember it being said. So
Yeah.
Oh no! All right, we'll be right back after these messages. Bye.
How did we finish the last arc?
It is a name that drove fear back into our hearts and minds. Drove us to the very brink of extermination at the edges of our own universe.
And not just yours, but the Fae as well.
What happened in your realms was mirrored in ours.
And so together, we found a way to leave everything behind. Our homes, our way of life, our universe. All of it gone.
All with the hope that we could gain a power as strong as his, and use it against him, united as a people.
As the Drea. So we came to Mir, this new and young universe. One whose fate is still being decided by its own people. And thanks to the sacrifice of our elders, we know this was Veldura's home.
And together, we will find a way to stop him. Once and for all.
At least they will try.
Oh, you know what? I actually did perfect how to do that. I don't remember when I did it, but I figured out how to make the little. I did it with some logo. I don't even remember what I did. I did it as like a test, and I was like,
Can you just do it with a picture of Saunders' face?
yes, I can 100% do that.
Like actual Sunder, not me.
Yes.
Sunder.
No, you. No, you. Your face spinning
That
rapidly.
way it can be used with every campaign.
You know, that's the one thing that this intro is missing.
The zoom
Yes.
in.
Zoom
The
in on
zoom in
Saunders'
Saunders'
face.
face. Don't
Yeah,
worry,
true.
we'll do it again.
It just it always says to me whenever it would zoom in, it's just this week. You.
Oh, so good. That or Bajan's face are the same. This is the same image. All right.
Miss Bijan.
I know. He's out there somewhere in the universe,
Doing
floating.
Floating.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
his
because he's at
space-
space camp.
Yeah, his
Right.
space camp. Yeah, he's
That's a
floating out there.
euphemism.
He's floating out there in the void. He forgot his tether, so he's just.
Is this in the timeline where we did teens in space, but just we're them again?
He's on a bajaunt.
Oh no! All right. Well,
Delos.
Delos,
A-
go for it.
As Laertes is perusing both the natural and, I suppose, technological remnants, there's a moment where, in that trance, he's holding up the little clod of dirt, crushing between his fingers, and it's just, that's when his eyes snap open, when he just doesn't necessarily puts two and two together as much as adds to the theory in his head already. And whatever a lit process is going on dims down. And he looks over at Themisto and Phoebe. I don't know if this is what did it specifically, but the not body that we saw, I think it was made with this, or at least with something like this. I don't think that's its intended purpose. I think something about it was altered to do it.
This very curious. Perhaps then this is the birthplace of Apollo indeed, in a way.
It's started on this journey with the thought that it doesn't have to be one idea or the other, but somewhere in the middle is the truth.
High Priest, thank you again for showing us this place.
He's stunned in silence at this revelation.
I thank you again for coming to me so late in the evening.
Laertes, you had another insight?
No, just hopeful.
As am I.
All right. Heading back up the stairway to the main, I'll say auditorium, the main room of the temple. He says his good night to everyone. And then as Phoebe is last, he puts both his hands on your shoulders and then brings you in for another hug. I hope that you find what you are looking for. But at the same time,
continue to grow into whoever you are meant to be.
I forgot about that piece for too long, but I won't anymore.
He nods and kisses you on the forehead. Be well, daughter. May the gods bless all of you. And you leave.
Cypress, Astrid, Laertes. I have one more thing to do here at the temple, actually. Phoebe, would you mind staying a moment and I catch up to the rest of you?
Of course.
Not at all.
We'll catch some fresh air.
Secret insight check that I won't actually roll.
You can if you want. Okay.
Doesn't matter.
Marriages have already left the scene.
Yeah.
The mister's gonna turn and just look at the temple structure for a bit silently. Then I'll look over at Phoebe. You know, when I led their feet to begin my pilgrimage, I expected that I might see wonders. The Colossus, maybe, or the pyramids of Kemet. I did not see the journey that we are on now. Or that I would help my hero of so many years ago to face it. I also did not see, if I could be so bold, that I would start to wonder if perhaps she and I could be something more. She kind of pauses to see Phoebe's reaction.
Phoebe smiles warmly.
But before you say anything, you must know. I mentioned that I am an aspirant. You know this.
Yes.
Vipatia. If I heed Gaia's call to me, if I reach the end of that path that those who believed in me at the temple of Apollo they set for me, and become the Pythia of Delphi, then tradition demands that the Pythia, that I cannot give my love except to the temple and thus the people of Yehian. I cannot have a partner, so if you don't want to spend time with me in this way, I am a grown woman. I will move on. But you can tell that last sentence kind of stings. The snakes kind of crunch in a little bit, like they're preparing for something to sting, but it's just emotions.
You mean
so,
you cannot at all along your path?
well, I am not yet the Pythia. I could, but perhaps you wanted more, or I did. We don't know yet, right? But I would want you to know what you're getting into.
Phoebe's gonna pause for a moment mulling it all over. Just because the candle will eventually burn out does not mean you never light it. She'll take your hands. Just because something good cannot last forever does not mean it's not worth pursuing. If you will have me for the time that we have, I will hold your heart so close. When it is time to give it back, I will cheer so loudly for you from the sidelines as you become what you're meant to be.
You ignite me as the sun itself. May I kiss you?
Very much so.
Themisto is going to move close, taking Phoebe's hands that she's taken and pull herself and Phoebe towards her. And she's going to at first give a very gentle kiss on the lips. And then for just a moment, and then pull away. You can kind of feel her pull away. But stay very close. And then she's gonna look and kind of smile as sort of a yes question.
Phoebe is going to take your hands and put them up on her shoulder, and then put her hands around your waist. And she'll initiate the kiss this time.
Yeah. Themisto kisses back fully. The snakes almost, they like move up as if to give them room. Do a little wobble.
Whatever time I have with you, I'm yours, Themisto.
Yes, I am yours. I suppose then we don't need that play after all to
Still wouldn't
figure
mind
things out.
going to see a play with you.
It would be nice still, yes. The mister's definitely blushing at this point. I suppose the others will need us again soon.
You can wait another moment. Though I'm afraid the glow might give it away a little bit. No. I'm going to say that some of Phoebe's blush glow has come back.
I don't mind if they know.
Honestly, the way we've been dancing around each other, I think they might be trying to not have figured out by now.
Yes. As we saw the sun and the earth do.
Out of character, I'm going to need clarification on the sun and the earth thing.
Back
Dreamy is trying to
at the
follow.
planetarium scene. And we actually saw the orbiting happen.
Okay, I'm following now. Thank you. Sorry to like ruin that moment, but I was like,
That's okay.
yes.
Yeah, that. Just like that.
I think roll a history check. It will help you. Trust me, this was a good line.
The one out of Celestial Dance, I'm glad we were able to draw closer.
As am I. Thank you for accepting me as I am.
Thank you for helping me find myself again.
You didn't need me for that, but I am glad I could be part of it.
Before we return to the others, and she'll give you another kiss,
She'll
and then
return
not
it.
let go of your hand as we start to walk towards the others.
Nice.
If Phoebe hadn't already like done the interlaced fingers, Themisto will engage that.
Nice.
Now I'm gonna read chat. I completely tabbed over to something
Good.
different, so there was no temptation.
Good. Good.
We weren't talking about you.
Of course not. Of course not. I saw one comment from Hannah. I just saw Hannah's name and I went, click over my character sheet instead.
No. We do stand a Hannah comment. All right. Undoubtedly.
We went to break at the wrong time.
All right. As we had said earlier, the Temple of Artemis and the Temple of Apollo are not that far apart. They are separated by a grove of trees.
They're next door.
Hmm?
Like,
We're like standing just like 20 feet away.
You were
It's
gonna
dark.
walk and then
it's
like
dark. They won't notice a thing. Phoebe illuminates.
I like how this
Cypress
is
had to
literally.
like stop and relace his sandal and like, oh shit, I'm not here, I'm not here.
He's doing the loop a few times. But I like how this is effectively a Greek sorority frat house rivalry that they've set up.
Yes.
Instead
They're
of like,
gonna
you know,
hate
instead of like the stereotypical 80 movie panty raid thing, it's more like we're stealing all your offerings.
All right. Astrid, Laertes, Cypress. While all of that was going on, was there anything you guys wanted to confer about, or just wait till they return?
I take it takes about 2.5 steps to walk over to Artemis's temple, right? So we were just there in the background of this whole scene.
No, I mean,
bright
like-
light over our shoulder.
There's
Coming
like-
from Phoebe.
like
Hold
I
on,
said,
guys. I'll
Would've
translate
had
from
the
afar for
tact
everyone.
to wait until you guys went inside.
Just all of us pressed against the glass.
like I
We're making
said,
out again. About
Like-
time.
like I said, there is a grove of trees that sits between the two, so
Okay.
there is some space between.
I
And-
think out of respect, at least my intent is to kind of just wait outside the temple so that we can join as a group. So Laird is just standing with clasping his hands behind his back, just admiring the architecture and any of the iconography outside, waiting for the rest of the party to coalesce. And that's when Cypress said he went in immediately, and I'm a jackass.
Astrid is going to use stealth to try to like watch what's happening between the two. And then at the right moment, once they kiss, she's going to cast Gust under them and let it be like this beautiful.
Oh Lord. Okay. Well, sure. Why not?
You're already the captain of one ship. Don't commandeer another.
Everyone's just trying to get those Aphrodite piety points. So
Mm-hmm.
Join the club.
All right. On approaching the temple of Artemis, as I said, it is a large wooden structure. But as you approach it, it's very well taken care of wooden structure. And it does have a sweet smell of like cedars and pine. The doors are currently closed. It doesn't have like the same level of openness as, say, like the Temple of Apollo does, where it's got like the large gold and brass doors that are hanging open. This one's like doesn't look like necessarily locked, but they are closed.
Does it kind of look like a wooden hunting lodge, but more if they try to make a temple?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Would the colors be orange and white?
No, this one. This one's this. Oh,
Names
on the door.
with an orange background. Big bulky white letters with an orange background.
Are you trying to make? No. You'll have to explain that one to me. I was like, maybe, but no, I was just thinking like brown wood. Okay.
But seeing is that we kind of know, I think, collectively about Artemis and her connection to Astrid, right? To one extent or another.
I think it's still a little bit.
Okay. Based on that again, Laertes isn't walking up to the door, letting Astrid be the forefront.
Astrid's going to try and look for a place to worship, a place to pray, whether in front of a statue or an artifact.
I mean, you try to go inside or do you stay on the outside? Because there are like
I'm gonna go inside.
spots of veneration on the outside as well. Okay. You do find that the door is barred. You knock.
Yes.
Okay. As you knock, make a perception check.
18.
Interesting. Interesting. It's the tightening of a bowstring that perks to your ears first.
Okay.
And you immediately, like you had just finished knocking, you hear the bow, like a bow being pulled back and tightening, taunt, and your ear perks. And your eyes start to look up and around the kind of like porch that surrounds the temple.
She'll put her hands up, like.
Over in the shadow of one of the pillars, a Goliath of a woman stands with a long bow pulled tight and drawn. Looking over at you.
I'm a trained daughter of Artemis. I hunted with her. I would like access to this temple. If you would be a kind sister. I want to pay my respects.
The bow doesn't loosen, but you hear her voice speak. What is your name?
Capitanios Astrid Romana. of affluence.
The Hawk Girl.
Hawk girl. Yes.
I've heard the
Not so
story.
much anymore.
I've heard the story of that fight. The bow still remains tight.
And you?
Drawn. Nephili. I was a novice. Probably didn't see me. One of the little bears.
Can I make a history check to see if I might remember them?
Sure.
Or- I'm gonna give myself a guidance with this. If that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. 17.
The name doesn't ring any bells. But in your time having spent with Artemis and her kin, just like Apollo has cared for orphans at his temples, there were often young girls that would also be sent to the temples of Artemis, and they called them little bears. They were basically allowed to grow and become huntresses themselves, but also protectors of wood and forest. So it's not surprising, but also, I mean, there's a lot of kids, so to have remembered her particularly, maybe not. But you do remember during those times with Artemis the presence of many girls of various ages.
You seem to have grown into quite the grizzled beast.
Huh.
Proficient. Seconds.
I missed the last part. What'd you say?
And proficient with the bow, as I can
Oh.
see.
Oh. Huh. Why do you come to the temple so late? And with so many others?
We were visiting Apollo. We have a priestess in the Lorraines. And the temple of Artemis happened to also be here. So I felt it right to pay my respects.
I will allow you to enter. But the others stay outside.
I look to the others. And then back to her. Can I try persuasion?
Sure. What do you say to try and persuade her?
The people that are with me have fought hard alongside me. Artemis would see them worthy of entering her temple. Oh no. Oh no. You know what? Inspiration. Inspiration. I'm trying to
Birthday inspiration. There's your birthday inspiration.
Birthday inspiration.
Okay, that's better. Nineteen.
She walks over to you, bow still drawn. And as she gets about like 3 feet from you, she lowers the bow. And then pushes on the door. And you hear something in the wood creak and groan and open as one of the doors of the two slides enough back for you to enter. You may enter. And her eyes narrow at the boys. And I suppose they as well, but only to the entrance. She speaks of Phoebe and Themisto. But the boys are to stay outside.
That I understand.
I mean, I'm willing to do that. Can we petition for Laertes to go in?
It is just not the way.
I was trying to ask, how aware of the conversation are the rest of us?
I mean, you all are right there, so.
Oh, what I mean, like, I didn't know if it was
Oh, yeah.
she walked up to the door and then just,
Yeah.
drawn bow against the ear. What are you doing here? Why are you here? Who are they?
Yeah, no. No, she was very
Okay.
much. Once she was spotted, there was no.
Mhm.
She was stopped
Okay.
hiding. So
Still have an
all of,
understanding of the scene.
yeah, the whole conversation was had with everybody listening. She puts the bow down, but has a hand on her dagger.
These Cypress, you'll have to wait outside. But I'll tell you if there is anything interesting that happens in there.
I look to the temple guard. I have no intention of violating your decree. I will wait here.
You look to Phoebe and Themisto and kind of give like a
Let's go.
And if Astrid notices, they are locked hand in hand.
she'll eye that and then smile lightly as she does. She'll walk inside.
Walking inside, you see that Nephili stands in the doorway. And you see that there's very much an entrance area, or there's like weapon racks that are right by the door. Most of them bows, a couple of slings, a couple of spears. Tools used mostly for hunting, less so for warfare. But there's it's like a square entryway, and then beyond that door, it looks like it leads deeper into the lodge to this temple. And there's definitely the scent of like nature, but strong presence of like wood, but then also a smell of almost kind of like a barn kind of smell, because there's like animals, or it would suggest the presence of animals. But it is very dark. In fact, the only light seems to be coming from the open doorway at the moment.
Astrid will cast light on she doesn't have her I guess she'll cast it on her arcane on her star chart that's with her.
Sure.
Not the dagger, because let's not do that.
I mean, bold of you to assume that Nephili didn't see that you already had the dagger on you.
Okay. And just kind of light the way.
As you walk inside, it is like I said, it's a large temple, but it is very dark. And you realize that the inside is almost like it does have some semblance of like barn, but then there's also like a little inner, almost like an forest on the inside, as there are lots of columns here that still have branches that grow off of them. You can see up ahead the dying, glowing embers of what looks like a small campfire. And then you realize that that's where the smokiness is coming from a little bit. You can hear the shuffling of what sounds like animals in the darkness. Not like a lot, but it's like you hear the gentle steps of maybe deer, the small quiet gruntings of some boar perhaps, but they kind of echo and resound around the space to where you feel like you're still in a forest, less in a building. It has such a presence of nature within it that it is, and it's so dark still, that it is kind of tricks your brain into thinking you walked in through a door, but somehow you are still in a forest. What were you gonna say, Laertes?
Oh, just a small retcon, if you'll allow me.
Mhm.
Partly because Sonder's the birthday boy, and Astrid's going into a temple of someone that she reveres. I would have liked to have offered another Fortune's favor.
Sure.
So you just get to choose when you have an advantage at some point if you want it.
Thank you.
All right. What do you do once you're inside?
She's going to try to get a good look at each of the animals.
Make a
Is it
perception check.
Is it a
There are-
bunch of the same, like groups of the same animals? Like there's a couple deer, a couple boar, or is it like one?
Well, you don't
each.
see any of the animals, but
Just
you can
hearing
hear
them.
them. You're just hearing
Okay.
them. So it's basically like, imagine the entire temple is the inside of Cabela's, but it's like a set of store. It is forest, and instead of taxidermied animals, there are live animals, and they're just kind of, you hear the sounds of them, and in and amongst the columns. But then you also realize that some of the columns are actually trees that are. It's like they built the temple around a forest grove almost.
Astrid will say in Druidic, "I'm a friend. I'm here in reverence." As she continues in towards that campfire.
Okay. Yeah. What are Themisto and Phoebe? What are you guys doing?
I think just observing, like Astrid did for us in Apollo's temple. Like this is Astrid's field.
Right. Since I am a priestess of Apollo, this is, even though I'm welcome in here, I'm kind of still a bit of an interloper. So I'm just gonna tread lightly.
Because there's no real like animosity between the two, but there's
Sure.
also like they only come together when it comes to partying, and that's about it.
Right, right.
um
It would be, I guess, following Astrid in, but hanging back a bit and letting her nods or motions determine where I am. And hanging on to Phoebe. So.
Yeah. What were you gonna say?
I'll just say to stay close.
As you walk in through and amongst these this forest and up to the fire pit, you see that the embers begin to glow a brighter color. And then you realize that the brightness is also coming from Astrid. A little bit. There is
At
a
that,
glow.
Phoebe's gonna smile.
It's not like a dim light even. It's just the faintest of glow that comes from her skin. And then you hear a small voice come from behind one of the trees. What are you doing here?
In common?
In Druidic.
Okay. I'm here to pay my respects to Artemis.
Your eyes kind of go towards the direction there. You kind of raise your light a little bit, and you see a small dryad girl peeking her head out from around a tree. Her hair looks like it's slicked back fern fronds that are tied back behind her head.
I am Astrid. These are my friends, Phoebe and Themisto. Themisto is a priestess of Apollo. Phoebe is a sister of Apollo.
I think Themista will have her hood down in this space too, hearing the animal sounds.
Why have you come to this temple?
Myself?
Yes.
I have not talked to Artemis in a long time. And this was an ample moment to try and reconnect with her.
You have forgotten her.
Yes.
So why come now? What has changed?
I need her guidance. I need her strength.
And what do you offer in return?
Myself. A champion to her. A servant. To her call.
She kind of steps out from behind the tree now. And you see that she's not wearing any clothes, but she has her skin is part greenish flesh, but then also part brownish bark. And it kind of covers her in like, it almost looks like wrapping vines that kind of go around her body in different parts. She takes a couple of steps towards you all. She's probably only about like 3 feet tall. Artemis has plenty of champions. Artemis has plenty of servants and sisters. You have fought with her once. Prove your worth to her. Hunt. Hunt what needs to be hunted. She is always watching. Show her that this is more than just fleeting. That you have not simply lost your way in the wood and wish to find a way out.
Master.
Can you do this?
It's all trickling back in. Yes. Cerberus will be defeated. You will be hunted and
Isn't-
slain.
It is not just Cerberus. It is not so. There are more things. There are strange things, dark things. Those threaten more than Cerberus, though he may have been corrupted by it. You must find the source of this corruption. Otherwise, more will take Cerberus's place. Go with my blessing. The eye of Artemis is upon you.
I will. The darkness will be slain.
She narrows her eyes. We will see. Now go.
She'll bow to her, trying to go lower than the girl's head in her bow. And then rise up again and turn to her friends.
In the shifting of the light when you bring back up the dryad's gone. We're gonna say Themisto.
The mister is going to take a little bitty baby clay container of honey, and set it there in the wood. Say, from the brother of Artemis. And then she's gonna clasp a hand on her free hand on Astrid's shoulder. Say, now you and I are both pilgrims.
Yes, we are.
I shall nod. I am here for you during it.
Within I guess, well, she would have only taken her star chart and her dagger. Yeah. I have an oath to follow. Blessed by the eye of Artemis. Seen by her. We continue to focus on Phobos. It's the rest of these. And these creatures of the Hiri. Astrid's going to hand up to one of the pillars that has the
Oh yeah.
see if she can glean any feeling from it, an aura. If that makes sense. Trying to connect the area around her.
It feels like the wood. There is a bit of a cool breeze that blows through this temple now, going the way of the door. When you pull your hand away from the wood, there's a piece of moss that comes off with it.
Mhm.
And is in your hand. And it looks like a little eye-shaped piece of moss.
She'll she'll just clasp it and head out. That's a sign.
Okay. All right. So, as you guys exit, Cypress, what were you wanting to say?
I am curious how long I'm gonna need to look back on that. All the way back, just as a possibility and option. This shouldn't change anything that's gone on, but Cypress had this idea and he wanted to offer it to Laertes. As he's sitting either on the steps or leaning against the temple wall. Laertes, obviously, feel free to just shoot this idea down immediately, but I know that you usually are interested in this sort of thing, so if you wanted to try to sneak in, we could do that. The only downside, depending on how many steps we take, the guard might not like me. But I didn't have an interest in getting in there anyway.
I was honest in my declaration that I would not violate their space.
Understood. Thought I'd offer.
I'm sure Astrid
Yes,
will
yeah.
offer a story or two if there's anything interesting.
Yeah. I wonder how different their temple is.
You see Laertes kind of look at this sort of hunting lodge with a little bit of temple aesthetics grafted onto it, and then look
Yeah.
over the trees to the, Parthenon next door, and just go, I imagine they're a bit different.
And you see that Nephili is still in the doorway, and she's like, occasionally will look inside, but her attention is focused on you two. Just watching your every move.
Yeah, this plan probably wouldn't work anyway.
And there's a moment when you see you try to offer this plan that Laertes kind of just takes a sidestep away. Like whatever's about to happen happens to him, not me. It's just, really? I'm just going to shuffle out of this scene entirely. The most that he would be doing in that time would be occasionally stooping over to look at some of the offerings. And if there's anything that is like a candle that's gone out and there's just like a wax mess or something, he'll do his best to clean it up a tiny bit, just as a small sign of respect for a space that he is not welcome in.
Okay. She notices. She doesn't do anything about it, but she notices.
Mm-hmm.
And then before you know it, your three friends emerge from the darkness of the temple. And join the rest all together.
How was it?
Probably should have brought an offering, to be honest. But I had an affirmation from a dryad who represents Artemis. She wants us to continue on our path. The slaying of the creatures we have been going after will prove my strength and discipline to Artemis. Perhaps I will receive her blessing. It's beautiful inside. Reminded me of training.
I'm glad you got to see it.
If you ever find yourself in the middle of the forest, that is what it is like.
All right.
Shall we?
Back home? Or where to next?
Out of curiosity, on our walk here, were there any other temples of import, or is it very Apollo Artemis centric?
Very Apollo Artemis centric. There's a couple of smaller temple shrine kind of situations.
Mhm.
There's one to Athena. There's one to an unknown, to foreign god. This is like basically a house of worship for any unknown deity that
Oh, the non-denominational branch.
kind of, yeah, it just is a form of, because this is a port town and there's a lot of travelers from all over. They kind of use that as a hold all for many others.
Historically accurate. I think Paul calls that one in Corinthian.
Mm-hmm.
First or second? Dumb joke. I'm so sorry.
No, it was good.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah. No, I guess. Is there anything that this time of night that's kind of lively as we're walking back that we can hear? Any?
Dive bars.
Maybe
Or
Any
like
is there any
buskers?
merrymaking? Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I am curious if, obviously, this doesn't need to be done now or tonight, but if we could connect with any local marine community, like native or local tritons or primordials, maybe they might know about those goings on.
You want to go to a coral?
Marine community, you're interested in a listed son? Let me tell you.
Oh,
I am enlisted.
Master Chief comes out of nowhere.
For the corals, Aaron, is it something where they exist somewhat above land and also underwater, or is it mostly underwater?
Mostly underwater. It's
Okay.
towns and villages that have a large Triton community usually have a coral that is close by. And for those of you who don't know, a coral is basically a underwater Triton village. There is a coral that is outside of Athens.
Astrid has been to this one.
And that is the one that is one of the larger ones. But that's just kind of the term that they use for their very much specific Triton community.
It also does remind me, what was that to do, Laertes, with when the chief, a chief of the Tritons, kind of cornered you? Is not the right word, but do we remember what they were talking about?
They were simply intimating that they didn't want me nosing around where I shouldn't, especially in anywhere that is in the ocean.
Do we think they knew about the Atlas?
Have we started walking back yet? Or, like,
Yeah.
Okay, we're having this full-on conversation as we're walking through the street. Now, I guess we can't learn that lesson because the person that was saying to everyone, you shouldn't be talking about this stuff out loud. We no longer remember. So just you see Laertes kind of get close. Maybe we should save this conversation when we're behind closed doors.
It makes sense.
But now,
What-
let's say,
What is the nightlife in Delos like?
Right now, at this point of the night, because you guys arrived at the house as this night was starting, so eating time going to temple time,
Mhm.
not coming back, you're looking at closer to midnight. It's a little
Mhm.
on the calmer side.
Hmm.
There's a couple of places that still have people that are close by, but for the most part, this being a fishing village, most people are in bed because early rising fishing folk.
Did we see a lot of, like, not fishing vessels, but just sailing vessels in the port?
There's probably like 5 or 6.
Hmm.
For like as much port city as this is.
Mhm.
Oh, wait. Why did my phone just wait? Hold on. That was
You
weird.
broke it. You broke it.
My phone decided to disconnect itself from.
Oh dear.
I hear there's a good art gallery here in Delos. We can
Hello.
go look at some
Dreamy.
interesting.
Yes.
Dreamy, if you put your head a
Oh.
little, you are now on. It's Chris' body.
Hang on, which direction do I go?
Nope, Graham, don't
No,
say it. Don't say it.
No, I don't have to. Aaron already did.
Yep, there you go. Fixed it, kind of. All right, we're good. That was amazing. I just like saw you shift, and it was like the perfectly right down to the necklace. It's so good. All right, sorry. You had asked about the ships, and then what?
Mhm. Oh, did we see any bars down in the port when we were coming up? I figured if anywhere would have some activity.
Oh, there were a handful of like places, but what is happening? I'm like on there twice now. Yep, it's disconnecting itself. I don't know what's going on. Weird.
Mm,
All right, now it's on.
okay.
Stay. But yes, there are a couple of places, but it's
Mhm.
not like I said, not like a big nightlife scene. This
Mhm.
is a school night.
Well,
Well,
might be worth wandering down and see if there's anyone still carousing, and if there's any rumors or notice boards or anything.
Good idea.
Take a moment and then go pass out.
yes, even if there is a tamer sort of night tonight, but we can still have a decent time, huh?
Shall we?
I'm
All right.
down.
Everybody make charisma saving throws.
Uh-oh.
It'll be a higher level than just a charisma check. So
Is this a...
I am rolling
There is
so
no
bad
save.
tonight.
I'm gonna get to roll this
No
with advantage.
modifier for.
Damn it. Can I tell that this will be necessary as a character?
This is more of a
Because I can cast
representation-
Enhance Ability on myself.
I don't think you would, only because this is more of a situation of over the course of the evening, how does it fare kind of thing.
You're telling me
Um,
that Cypress is not the life of the party?
Oh no, I'm sure he is. I'm sure he is, but I don't know if he would consider himself thinking about the moment of I should enhance my charismatic ability right now.
No. Now's the time.
It's okay, I'm charismatic to the one who matters.
I got the 10.
Okay,
7.
cool. The Misto.
The Mister must be feeling pretty good about how things went, because I rolled a natural 20 for a 26.
Nice.
Astrid.
9.
Cool. Laertes.
So I need to walk you through this. I have 2 inspiration. I used 1.
Mhm.
I got 1 from Taco and I got 1 from you directly.
Mhm.
And I finally got to use 1. They were both bad. Rather, I used 1 of the inspirations, so I rolled with advantage,
Yeah.
and then I used my last chrono shift for the day to get me up to a meager 14. I used a lot of resources to get to that.
Don't worry, my friends. I can have enough fun for all of us.
I mean, the thing is, it's more of you have a good time. That is not so much the issue. But if you are we're wanting to try and see what kind of information you find out, that sort of thing. It's more of that sort of general charismatic. Lower scores to me mean you weren't really paying attention to that so much as having a good time, relaxing, as it were.
Hey, mental health day is necessary for the Orpheus, or the fall of Bahiri happens again.
It's okay. Phoebe
no.
was relaxing.
Yeah. Phoebe was relaxed. Astrid was relaxed.
Blue deer woman just sneezed in the past. That doesn't make sense, but
Watch Sunday nights to get that joke.
It's true.
Oh man. Oh.
I'm sure
That
she'll
one
be fine.
guy's comment just echoes throughout eternity.
If there is one, yeah, anyway.
If light travels through the universe at a certain rate, that one guy's just, oh man, is the one thing carrying through the rest of reality.
We all
really?
hear it at this precise moment.
Did any of you hear them?
Dude, what?
As the night
It
progresses,
came from everywhere.
Phoebe will go from holding Themisto's hand to having her arm around her.
Okay. I have this.
I will brandish my shield.
This is why no one talks to you.
No, it is a good.
Because I will let them.
You kind of do
Shield master.
You kind of do the equivalent of bar hopping. You kind of just go from one place to another, just kind of like walking through the downtown Delos section. And like I said, a lot of these places, it's not like they have big names for their taverns or their establishments. It's almost like you're going to this person's house, going to this
I was gonna
person's
say,
house.
is this the
It's-
like bar equivalent of like the mom selling tamales out of her kitchen?
Kind of. It's a kind of food trucky in that sense of like this one person, like you go to let's pick a name. We'll go to Dolly's house. Dolly's house, they make really great wine, and they have some really great little breads, and so then you grab some of that. But then further down, there's like a patio where a bunch of people are gathered, and they are all drinking beer from this one guy's thing. Like it's not so much that there are stores and there are restaurants sort of things, but it's more of a community thing. So yes, you buy stuff from these little vendors and whatever as you go through, but it's more communal market bazaar, and it happens to be the neighborhood where like these people kind of live. So I mean, even here in San Antonio, there are people who have like backyard bars and stuff like that. It's just like a community hangout sort of thing, and that's kind of the vibe that they have here. And I guess now this correct question is being directed more to Laertes and Phoebe.
I rolled bad. It was Themisto.
Sorry, Laertes and Themisto. What
You're just so
questions
entwined,
would
it's
you,
easy to confuse.
what questions would you want to be asking?
I'll defer to Themisto.
Asking questions.
Like,
I was more just trying to have a nice day.
yeah, I mean that's fine. I was just curious if there was anything that you would be keeping an ear out for.
Well, we know that we are curious about the cult of Phobos, and we know that we are curious about the stuff that's going on to the west. So, I suppose if any more of these disappearance tales have trickled in from anyone in particular, and if I tried to remember the look of the people of the cult of Phobos from Ilum, and just keep my eyes open for signs, or if I hear mention of anyone saying that they had encountered anybody with this sort of inclination, you know, not in a very difficult way. I think that my primary goal is to just enjoy myself. But you know, keeping my snakes on a swivel as it is.
Beautiful. It is towards the end of the evening. When you overhear a conversation hushed in a corner as you guys are kind of standing in line for some honey cakes. A sweet way to end.
Baklava.
There you go. A sweet way to end the night. And it is someone who is recounting a story. That they recently had been traveling east and northeast as they're passing Delos and continuing northeast, kind of going back towards probably Ilum in that general direction. One of them speaks of a strange sight. That one of the shrines of Apollo was dark. They had passed it in the evening, and the village surrounding it bare no light. It was as if you hear him talking. It was as if everyone had simply vanished. And for a temple, even a small one, found it strange that it would have been suddenly abandoned. You see the other two older, grizzled sea sailors look kind of just like very serious, and then strange times. We probably shouldn't be speaking of such things. Putting a sour mood on everything.
Did they mention the name of this location?
It was only the mention of place of Apollo, or like small temple of Apollo, that like really perked your ear up to it. So if they didn't mention it again afterwards.
I think while we're buying the honey cakes, Themisto's going to, do the like, just for a moment, like move Phoebe's arm and like give her a little peck on the cheek, and then turn to these guys, and like, excuse me, gentlemen, I couldn't help but overhear. I am a priestess of Apollo. With this going on at this shrine?
You see the one who had been talking initially looks up at you. Make a persuasion check. He looks nervous now.
I did not roll a persuasion, that's a problem. So that's going to be a 14.
Cool. It wasn't a crazy high DC, but that does make it. It was the shrine on Polygaros, a island to the southwest of here. Have you and your order abandon such a place?
I am from the east, so I have not heard of this, but perhaps it is something I will go and see for myself.
Well, be careful. Priests should not be, priestesses such as yourself should probably travel to such places under better guard than. He looks at the laughing, jovial companions that you have.
One has a shield.
He just kind of shrugs. Maybe Apollo will protect you then.
Yeah, definitely gonna just keep with the not do any allusions to our abilities in this instance. If she wasn't already clearly dressed like a priestess, she may not have mentioned that either. So,
All right.
thank you for the warning. I keep it in mind. Enjoy the rest of your night.
He raises a small cup, let's say porcelain, a small clay cup up to you.
The Mr. Will cheers him.
Okay.
Do they appear as fishermen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes. May your catch be good.
You hear them kind of grunt and back at you. But that's about it.
And then she'll turn back to the group.
Okay. What are your? And so, do you mention anything right away, or just kind of hold it for now?
She'll just mention it in the morning. We're gonna need to set a destination in the morning. No need to bring the mood down.
Okay. Sweet cakes in hand, you guys
That's a
stumble.
nickname.
You guys stumble slash meander your way back to Karis's Grace, where when you find the door locked and knock, Hypatia comes to the door, ushers you inside.
Sorry for the late arrival.
It's fine. We just lock the doors in case of. She kind of shrugs. Times are uncertain these days.
Well, we'll protect you if we need to be, because we help people. Yes.
Capitanios, I think you're drunk.
I just had a little bit of vinegar. It's fine.
If
Alright.
anyone wants to avoid the pains that such intoxication would bring tomorrow, I can fix you up, believe it or not.
Maybe necessary. Possibly. I'm going to head to bed.
I'll let you enjoy it until right before you go to sleep, in case that makes a difference.
Well,
Phoebe will linger outside of Demisto's doorway, because I think Demisto's the only one that like put stuff in a room so far.
The
How
Mister
do you-
hasn't gone into her room yet. Are you?
Are you cold tonight, Demisto?
Actually, I thought I might take a nice bath first. Could I see the size of it?
Oh. Alright.
okay.
8 o'clock.
All right. So after a comforting bath and settling into respective beds, you guys settle down for the night. A late night, but a night nonetheless. As we end for tonight on the night in Delos. Ooh. What awaits tomorrow? Who knows? No hangovers. Sweet, no, sugar hangovers.
Cypress is like, just like kind of reads Phoebe and Themisto's body language and is like, Laertes asked her, we should probably get our baths in first.
I prefer to think that Laertes is willfully oblivious of all this and has long since gone to his room and not paying attention or caring.
Well, I'm going to get my bath in first.
They say that the bath is really nice, didn't they?
I don't think she can understand me. She's far gone. I'll wait till she collapses and then pull that poison out of her.
And the soldiers that fight Phoebe back to the room.
Yep. So there's an unused room.
Alrighty. Lovely, lovely. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and end it there. We put another chapter to rest, so to speak, filled with questions and blossoming futures. We end tonight's episode of Age of Myth. All right.
You know, I had a comment about the honey cakes after you brought it up, but then I needed to do some sleuthing.
Oh no.
Mm-mm.
All right. Well, thank you guys for hanging out. Always a lovely time. And we look forward to seeing you on Sunday. Same time, same place, just on a different day.
Same
Yes.
bet, Sonder.
Same time, same. I am totally gonna make that for a scene transition.
I would say the add-on that we came up with on Sunday, but I feel like it needs to be saved for that occasion.
Oh boy. Yeah, we'll see what journeys await our Fluor, Alexoth, Therenian, and Olrasi.
Indeed, I am excited for this.
It's gonna be fun. But until then, stay fey, be brave. And the safe word is mango.
Honey cakes.
Snake spread.
Bunny spread. Wait, did you say snake spread? Oh no, that's worse. Somehow that's worse. All right, we'll see you guys next time.
Hunter in chat's going, mango, mango.